Welcome to The Explainer. We're about to tackle one of the oldest, most fundamental questions in all of philosophy. Is our moral character something we're born with, something set in stone, or can we actually change who we are?
So, think about it. Is our character our destiny? For centuries, thinkers have wrestled with this. It's the ultimate nature versus nurture debate. We're going to dive deep into both sides of this argument. The idea that our morality is fixed versus the idea that we have the power to shape it ourselves.
Okay, so this whole debate really hinges on two big concepts. On one hand, you have what's called natural disposition. This is the idea that we're born with certain tendencies. It's the raw material of our character. And on the other hand, you have what's called acquired disposition. That's the character we build through our habits, our education, our environment. So the big question is, which one wins out?
First up, let's explore the more deterministic view. This is the argument that our moral compass is basically set the day we're born and can't really be changed. Proponents of this idea say we come into the world with our good and bad traits already wired in, and we just carry them through life. You can see how this view has huge implications for, well, everything.
Thinkers from the Roman educator Quintilian all the way to philosophers like Schopenhauer have argued this point. They believe that things like education and religion, they're just a veneer. They're like a temporary outfit you put on. But the real person underneath, that core character, it stays exactly the same.
Now, what's really fascinating is how these thinkers tried to prove their point. They didn't just say, that's how it is. No, they pointed to 6 powerful, innate factors they believed locked in our morality from birth. Now, we have to be clear. Many of these ideas are now seen as outdated or have even been used for some pretty harmful ideologies. But to understand the debate, we have to understand where these ideas came from.
First up, genetics. This one still resonates today, right? The idea that we might inherit a tendency towards, say, aggression or patience. Now, modern science would agree there's a genetic component, a predisposition. But, and this is a huge but, it's a probability, not a sentence. It doesn't seal your fate.
Okay, this next one might sound a little strange to us now. Climate. But influential thinkers like Farabi and Ibn Khaldun were convinced that geography shaped our very temperament. They argued that people in hot climates were naturally more passionate, more emotional, while people in colder regions were more stoic and rational.
And of course, gender has always been a central part of this debate. You have Aristotle, who famously argued for a natural hierarchy. Men are fit to rule, women to obey. Then flash forward to modern thinkers like Carol Gilligan, who propose a totally different framework, that men and women are often socialized into different but equally valid moral systems. One focused on abstract justice, the other on care and relationships. Let's take a trip way back in time to the ancient physician Galen and his theory of the 4 humors. This idea was a cornerstone of medicine for over 1,000 years. The theory was that our personality is determined by the balance of 4 fluids in our body: blood, phlegm, yellow bile, and black bile. If you had too much blood, for example, you'd be hot-tempered. It's totally discredited now, but its influence was massive.
And this brings us to a classic. Plato argued that our soul has 3 distinct parts. You've got reason, our logical side, you've got spirit, which is our drive and ambition, and you have appetite, our desires and instincts. When these 3 are in perfect harmony, you get virtue. But when one is too strong or too weak, well, that's when you get vice.
And according to thinkers who followed this path, like Canalizade, when you achieve that perfect balance of wisdom, courage, and temperance, that's when you get the master virtue, justice. It's not just another good quality, it's the state where every part of your soul is in its right place, working together perfectly.
But wait a minute. This raises a huge question, a really powerful counterargument. If we can take a wild animal and tame it, train it, then surely a human being, with our capacity for reason, can also change their character, right? This question is the doorway to the other side of the debate.
So now let's flip the coin. Thinkers like Ghazali, Ibn Miskawayh, and even Aristotle argued against pure determinism. They said, yes, we might be born with certain tendencies, but we are absolutely not slaves to them. This view is basically the philosophical foundation for all of our ideas about education, therapy, and self-improvement.
This quote from Ibn Miskawayh gets to the heart of it. The distinction they make is crucial. As Aristotle said, a rock is naturally inclined to fall. You can throw it up in the air 1,000,000 times. You can't train it to fly. That's its unchangeable nature. But our character? It's not like a rock. It responds to training, to habit, to our own will.
And this side came with proofs. They presented evidence from 3 key areas. First, the religious proof. Why would holy books command us to be better if it was impossible for us to change? It wouldn't make sense. Second, the rational proof. Think about it. Why would we even bother with teachers, laws, or parents if people couldn't be guided? And finally, experiential proof. We see people change all the time, overcoming immense personal challenges through sheer effort.
So where does that leave us? Is it one or the other? Is our character fixed, or is it completely changeable? Well, the most satisfying answer seems to be, it's not either or, it's both and. The truth seems to lie in a synthesis of these 2 powerful ideas.
The philosopher Al-Isfahani put it beautifully. He said to think of our moral potential like a seed. We are each born with a certain kind of seed. A date pit, for example, has the potential to become a date palm. It can never become an apple tree. That's our fixed nature, our potential.
But here's the thing about a seed. Whether it actually grows into a healthy tree or just rots in the ground, that's up to us. Our choices, our effort, the education we seek, the habits we build, that's the water, the soil, the sunlight. Our nature gives us the starting point, but our will determines the destination. And this is so important. The goal of moral development isn't to become some kind of emotionless robot. We need our appetites to survive. We need anger to defend what's right. The goal is to make sure that our reason is the master of these passions, guiding them towards good instead of letting them run our lives.
This all brings us to one last crucial point. When is our morality really put to the test? There's a brilliant old story that illustrates this perfectly. So picture this. In a palace, there's a cat. And this cat has been meticulously trained. It walks on its hind legs, holds a little tray, and perfectly serves coffee to all the guests. It looks like it has learned a totally new civilized behavior. Its virtue seems impeccable.
But then comes the test. A guest releases a mouse, and in an instant, all that training, all that acquired behavior, it's gone. The cat drops the coffee tray, forgets its duty completely, and reverts to its most basic nature, chasing its prey.
And that right there is the ultimate measure of our character. True virtue isn't about being good when it's easy. It's about making the right choice when your personal mouse, your deepest instinct, your greatest temptation, your most powerful fear, shows up and screams at you to do the opposite. Which brings the question back to each of us. What's your mouse? What's that one challenge, that one pressure point, that one temptation that could make you drop the tray? Because choosing virtue in that exact moment, that is what truly defines who we are.